Hi, it's Natalie Ledwell here with Bella. Now, with the new year just around the corner, you're probably looking to give your mindset a makeover and a fresh start. Am I right? Well, you have come to the right place because I'm always on the hunt for books that help you to manifest your greatest life. So today you'll discover some of my all-time favorite books and some brand new ones that have the power to absolutely transform your life. And if you watch this video all the way to the end, I'm going to gift you my best-selling book, Never in Your Wildest Dreams. And that's going to keep you up until 2 a.m. in the morning because it's that good of a read. All right, so let's dive in. Book number 1 is Becoming Supernatural, How Common People Are Doing the Uncommon. And this is by my good friend, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now, I've been working with Dr. Joe for the last 8 years. And this book was written 2 years ago. It is truly a game changer. And what it does is it actually collates and puts together all of the data that he had collected from his advanced workshops for the previous 6 years. So things like the brain mapping chakra alignment, heart math monitors, energy in the room, all these different things that he was able to correlate together and from people who were meditating and going through his program for the 5 days that they were at the event. So this is really putting all together the research that he conducted over those last 6 years. And really what we were witnessing in these events was how common people are really doing uncommon things to change their lives and to heal their bodies. So Becoming Supernatural couples ancient wisdom with complex scientific information. And what comes from that is nothing short of amazing and mind-blowing. So in brief, when you understand that we are all energy and how to create a generous reality, you can do that just by changing that particular energy. And there's just so much more information in the book. You're going to love it. And it really scientifically explains how the law of attraction works. And of course, I'm a little biased, but chapter 9, all about mind movies and scientifically why they are so effective, is probably one of my favorite chapters. All right, so book number 2 is The Wisdom of Sundays by Oprah Winfrey. Now, this is an awesome book. I love this book, and anything by Oprah is always inspiring and always amazing. It's the book version of her television show, Super Soul Sunday. And in this book, she talks to different inspirational people, including some personal development leaders, innovators, visionaries, teachers, entertainment luminaries, and authors, people like Carolyn Mace and Gary Zukav. And these people, there are interviews that she actually had on Super Soul Sunday. And so her top interviews on different themes that she does throughout the book is what you'll find in the book here. It's absolutely fantastic. And she talks to everyone about, finding purpose. And how do we do that through mindfulness? And how do we do that with intention? And how can we create a life that we love and of purpose, through what is being taught by these particular luminaries that she interviews for this. So it's a light read. It's really easy, absolutely fantastic. And actually, she also interviews one of my favorite people, and I'm going to be talking about one of his books a little bit later. So book number 3 is Braving the Wilderness, The Quest for True Belonging by Brené Brown. Now, I absolutely love Brené Brown, and I devour everything that she has ever written and that she's ever put out. I've seen her special on Netflix, I've seen her TED Talks, but this particular book, Braving the Wilderness, has one of my favorite quotes of hers, and it says that true belonging doesn't require us to change who we are, it requires us to be who we are. Now that's going to the top of my list as one of my favorite personal development quotes ever. In this particular book, Brené discusses the spiritual crisis of disconnection that we, as a collective humanity, are in right now. With the introduction of things like social media and with the internet, and how busy our lives are and how divisive, the world is making us become right now, there is an epidemic of loneliness on the planet. And she introduces 4 practices of true belonging that challenge everything that we believe about ourselves and about everybody else. So given the turbulent times that we're in right now, fighting to stay connected and heart-centered is more important than it ever has been. And this book takes you on a journey to get there. Now, she's the author of, many amazing books, the Gifts of Imperfection, Vulnerability. And she's like a scientific researcher. And so her books are really based on science and really the interviewing and the gathering of stats from thousands of people. So Braving the Wilderness is definitely one of my favorites of hers, so I highly, highly recommend it for you. Okay, so book number 4 is, now I was talking before about one of the interviews in Oprah's book, and that interview is with Michael Singer. And my favorite book of his is The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself. Now, the reason this book, and I love this book so much, is that this is the book that I was listening to the week that Glenn and I separated and we decided to end our 18-year marriage. And I remember walking every morning, and I must admit the first few days I hardly heard anything that was happening in the book. But I remember just being, so lost and going, oh my God, I have no idea who I am, without Glenn. We were together for 20 years, and it was just really difficult to see what my future was going to look like. And one of the biggest takeaways that I had from this book was that, he said, this is just a moment. What's happening right now is a moment in time. And it's one of a gazillion moments that you'll have in your lifetime. Now, clearly I'm paraphrasing what he said, but this is, the gist of what he was saying. And even though we can't control what's happening in this moment or the events that cause the moment to happen, what we do have control over is how we choose to see that situation, how we choose to feel about it, how we choose to respond to it, and how long we allow it to affect us moving forward. And when I heard that, it was like something just dropped in my mind. I went, oh, right. So my question shifted from being, well, not who am I without Glenn, but was like, well, who do I want to be? If I can connect to this divine part of who I am, well, who do I want to be? And just hearing that piece of information in that moment really helped me to get to that point. So no matter how long you've been on a personal development journey, this particular book is going to elevate your relationship with yourself and with the world by helping you discover how to put an end to habitual thoughts and habitual emotions that we think that really limit our consciousness. So practicing mindfulness and meditation to help let go of any painful memories or negative thoughts that actually keep us stuck. That's just what you'll learn in this book, and a whole ton more as well. It is completely life-changing, and I've actually listened to this book about 4 times. It is definitely one of my favorites. I highly recommend it. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. All right, so book number 5. Now this book, again, love this book, and I kind of swing between the spirituality type books and then the science kind of books. This is kind of more towards the science side of things, and the book is called Stealing Fire. How the Silicon Valley, the Navy SEALs, and maverick scientists are revolutionizing the way that we live and that we work. Now, this book is written by Steve Kotler and Jamie Wheal. Now, Steve Kotler, Jamie Wheal are the 2 men that head up the Flow Genome Project. And what their research is all about is that how do we get into flow? How do we get into that state where we've got inspiration coming through, we're a channel, and everything is just falling into place for us, and we're like physically, mentally, and emotionally, we're all in alignment and in flow, and so things are so much easier for us. So they're really teaching us how to live on the edge and really push ourselves to the place where we can get into that flow. So Steve and Jamie have spent years following trailblazers, of this particular revolution, which challenges traditional beliefs about what we can achieve and how high our performance can be. So they followed Silicon Valley executives. There's a whole chapter on the Navy SEALs, maverick scientists that are really pushing the envelope on what it is that we know and that we understand. And there's actually a whole chapter in there about Burning Man, which actually was the reason that I went to Burning Man for the first time, not this year, last year. Because it really does talk about how, not just how we as individuals can get into the flow, but how we can get into the flow as a community. And really, Burning Man shows the best that humanity has, and what they've been able to create there is unbelievable. So, they go through all the shortcuts that these people have used to really outperform their competition, and really how to get into altered states of consciousness that get us connected to the unified field or the field of infinite possibilities, so that we have all this insight and guidance coming through. Now, this revolution is making its way into mainstream and really forcing us to rethink how we can lead more fulfilling and more productive lives. So if that is your jam and you're wanting to know more about that, then Stealing Fire is the book for you. And I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Okay, the next book is actually by a really good friend of mine, Mr. Mike Dooley. And this book is called Life on Earth, Understanding Who We Are, How We Got Here, and What Might Lay Ahead. So with the state of the world as it is these days, and I know I keep referring to this, but we are in really quite turbulent times, it feels. You know, many of us may be asking like really important, deep questions like, how can I be happy when so many others are suffering on the planet? Or is it right to pursue my own desires when other people are unable to do that? Should I be feeling guilty about having wealth when other people don't? Or how do I know what my purpose is? Or how do I find what my purpose is? So Mike asks a whole ton of these questions, and these questions get answered very eloquently and in a very compassionate and wise manner. He's actually written it in a journal form. So when Mike was journaling and asking these questions, he's actually articulating the answers that came back through him. And of course, you could see his wit and his personality and explorer spirit really gets to the heart of a lot of these questions. So this book is very powerful. It's a super easy read, and I really highly encourage you to check it out. Okay, so book number 7 is by my girlfriend, Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo. And I know Marie is really empowering women to think differently and to be differently and to really achieve different results in their life. So if you have ever dreamt of becoming the creative force in your own life, then Marie's book is the book for you. So rather than just offering, a series of quick fixes for all the problems that you have, or just looking at the symptoms or the problems that are coming up rather than getting underneath the cause of it, what Maria does in this book is actually provide you steps to retrain your brain so you're getting in front of these challenges or these problems before they actually even show up for you. I mean, personal development isn't just about how we act differently, it really is about how we think differently and how we can see things from a different perspective. So this book will really help you to think more positively and be more creative as well. And by the end of it, you'll believe that you actually have tapped into this real creative vein and really help you to take more control and be more empowered in the way that you move forward. Okay, now book number 8, which is the final book I want to talk about today, is a book called Superhuman, The Bulletproof Way to Age Backwards and Maybe Even Live Forever. And this is by my very good friend, Mr. Dave Asprey. So Dave is the creator of Bulletproof. If you've heard of Bulletproof coffee, the coffee where you put the butter, and different fats and everything in it. He's the creator of that. He's also a best-selling author. Actually, New York Times best-selling author. He's had a couple of books that have hit the New York Times. And with this book, what he's doing is really creating a revolutionary approach to anti-aging. And this will really help you to set your game up. And it doesn't matter what age you are, we can start reversing the aging process. Now, when Dave was younger, he really suffered a ton of symptoms of aging, which actually sparked a lifelong burning desire to grow younger with each birthday. And believe me, he is doing it. So for more than 20 years now, he's been on a quest to find innovative and scientifically backed methods to upgrade human biology and really redefine the limits of mind, body, and spirit. And the results really speak for themselves. And it's not just Dave that is a walking poster child for everything that he advocates, but everyone that is following his ideas and his formulas are really doing really well. Now Dave's in his 40s, and he's smarter, he's happier, and he's more fit and more successful than he ever has before. So in Superhuman, he shows how this level of health and performance is really possible for all of us. And when we can look at the way that our nutrition and different supplements, the way that we exercise, the way that we treat our bodies, it really makes a massive difference. So, most of us assume that we reach our peak in middle age and then we start to decline after that. Well, with Dave's research, in this book, he actually shows you that there is another way. And it's possible to make changes on the subcellular level to dramatically extend your lifespan. So, and the tools that it gives you to live longer, it gives you more energy, more brain power, you can think clearer, there's no more brain fog. And he uses simple interventions, things like diet, like sleep, light, exercise, and a little known but very powerful hacks from things like ozone therapy and proper jaw alignment. All of these things could really decelerate your cellular aging and really supercharge your body's ability to heal and rejuvenate and become superhuman. So when you look at things, reading a book like this, reading, Becoming Supernatural, reading Superhuman, reading Stealing Fire, it really does help you to see that you can achieve so much more, and it really makes you like 10 foot tall and bulletproof. All right, guys, well, that's all for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm going to gift you my best-selling book, Never in Your Wildest Dreams. And this book will teach you how to rise above your limiting beliefs and realize that you have limitless potential. So simply click on the link in the comment box below to get your free copy. And before I go, I would love to hear from you. Can you recommend any other books to our community? If you can, please share your comments below. So again, my name is Natalie Ledwell. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.